In Roman Britain, it is very unusual to find multiple lamps in a burial. Normally, I'd expect to see 1, maybe 2 lamps, but to find 8 is really unique and outstanding.
The same lamps also determined the date of the burial.
So 4 of the lamps in our burial are picture lamps. And these sort of lamps, we know from dated contexts, occur from about AD 20 onwards into the 1st century, and then they peter out in Britain. The other 4 lamps are what are called factory lamps. These factory lamps only occur in about AD 70, and then again they carry on into the 2nd century. So we have one type that's petering out in popularity, and one type that is becoming popular. And where the overlap is, that's where I would date this burial. That would be about AD 70 or 80.
By AD 70, gladiators had been in combat for around 400 years. There is evidence of them throughout the former Roman Empire. But until now, no identifiable human remains of a gladiator had ever been found. When the broken fragments of bone found in the Great Dover Street grave were examined, they were definitely human. But the most amazing revelation was to come. The largest piece was from the pelvis, the bone that identifies sex. If this was a gladiator, she was female. A gladiatrix.
Most people have always thought that gladiators is essentially something that big, butch men, Charlton Heston, whatever you like, do in the arena. So the idea that it could have been a woman was, to many people, a complete surprise.
And people then started saying, well, what have we got here? Could we possibly have a female gladiator? That really made everyone go, no, don't believe that. But when you sort of looked at all the facts, you realised that it was a possibility, that this could be something really quite amazing.
Thankfully, some of the bones were kept on public display and have been returned safely to the museum's archaeological service. The original identification was made by osteoarchaeologist Bill White. He's joined by human remains specialist Jackie McKinley, who thinks that wear and tear in the bones might allow an additional estimate of the woman's age.
So we know it's female, basically.
Yes. A piece of the skull.
Oh, it's toe bone there, look.
Yes.
That's the, in fact, it's the big toe on the left foot, isn't it? That's a cervical vertebra. I mean, they're relatively small, aren't they?
Yes,
they're fairly small size. Well, I don't know. I mean, even for cremated bone, that's still relatively small, yeah.
They need to find another fragment of pelvic bone.
All we were just trying to do is see if we could find that bit of iliac. That's it. That's it. That's actually a tiny, small, I know, but it is a piece of fused iliac crest. So basically we're talking about sort of that area there, but whereas this isn't fused, that is, you can see it's fused, which suggests that our individual is probably over 30, since the crest fuses about 25 to 30 years. Right.
There are no indications of degenerative disease as of the joints and vertebral column.
Yeah, so we've got female from the pelvis, general size of the bone, robusticity, and we've got, she's probably sort of in her 30s.
That would be a best
something
guess.
along those lines.
Slender and healthy, in the prime of life, could Great Dover Street woman be the first ever discovery of a gladiator's remains? The amazing possibility gathered momentum. Archaeologists were assembling the pieces of an intricate jigsaw puzzle to reveal the full landscape of Roman London. Great Dover Street woman's age turned out to be crucial. She reached her prime just a few years after London's amphitheatre opened its gates for the first time. And the Museum of London's archaeologists would soon link her directly to the bloody arena. By AD 70, the Roman Empire stretched across Europe and Africa. Gladiatorial combat was mainstream entertainment, and the legions brought it to London. The Romans put the city on the map and wrote its name in gladiators' blood. Years of painstaking archaeology have provided the data for a new computer model. To Britons, this was a futuristic city. A bridge crossed the River Thames, and there was a planned layout of roads, villas, and two-story buildings. And at centre stage, the edifice of the amphitheatre loomed over the city. Nine years before the Museum of London found the grave in Great Dover Street, they had uncovered the amphitheatre a mile to the north, on a site earmarked for a new art gallery. In the Corporation of London's Guildhall Yard, a ring of black slates now traces the circumference of the killing grounds discovered 20 feet below. Nick Bateman led the archaeological team. He now returns to the site where thousands must have died with the cheers of the city ringing in their ears.
Wow, what a change. So this is about the first time for 5 years that I've been down here. Of course, we're now underneath London. We're now, I don't know, about 20 foot down in the basement of the new art gallery. This is the original Roman level, the ground level of the amphitheatre. And behind these walls here, behind these modern breeze block walls, lies the preserved remains of the amphitheatre walls themselves. This, of course, is the east entrance into the amphitheatre. Now starting to walk down the entranceway.
People could have packed the ancient amphitheatre, 1/3 of the entire population. The equivalent of 2 million modern Londoners baying for blood.